It's sort of your outs becomes oots.
I.
4 years later and say, you've been an incredibly important person in my life. A moment where someone said something or did something that you feel fundamentally made your life better.
This world where life supports you rather than life.
That you are willing to enter into a conversation that might change your mind. Might.
What they were trying to do was figure out whether you might have,
Now, I can assure you, it is not quite that simple. Quite.
From psychologists and sociologists are quite persuasive here. Quite.
Ripe. Life. Ice. Might. Mike. Python. Righteous. Ow. Oh.
It's sort of your outs becomes oots, and that's
they
the
say
common.
oots.
Yeah.
And you had a bucket full of lollipops. And you were walking along and you were handing the lollipops out.
We use them, we throw them out.
Among the many things I admire about NYU is that about 1/5 of the students are international.
People are talking about.
Walk around without knowing it. Walk around without.
So all of these vendors, all sorts of companies can interact using the same database without trusting one another. Without.
South. Couch. About. Out. Cows.
I'm a brain researcher here at the University of British Columbia. And
And one other example, Colin Clark, a bioeconomist from the University of British Columbia.
University of British Columbia.
University of British Columbia.
University of British Columbia.
And regardless of what happens,
Not being in the right place just at the right time, but being in the right place all the time, regardless of what happens, regardless of what crisis or emergency comes up, regardless of what happens, regardless of what happens,
regardless of what happens, regardless of what happens,
and regardless of what happens,
and regardless of what happens.
That is the policy of the administration. We do not condone racial profiling, and that is something that is not allowed by law enforcement officers. That is something that is not allowed by law enforcement officers. But what we also have to do is we also have to be in a position where we are allowing law enforcement officials to make some risk-based assessments.
What's to stop other people from saying, if the Prime Minister can make fun of people for what they're going through, why can't I? The signal this sends to young people who wake up to seeing these images of their Prime Minister, making them feel like maybe they don't belong in this country. I want to let those young people know that you do belong. You are valued. You are loved. You are important. Absolutely. And most importantly, I want to also connect the lack of action on, clear and concrete steps to address inequality. You know, we put forward a commitment to immediately expunge all convictions for simple possession of marijuana. We know that that's specifically targeted racialized, indigenous, black, and people of color. That is a policy that...
It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me to TEDx YYC. Thank you, Calgary. I recognize that I stand in the traditional territory of Treaty 7, Blackfoot First Nations, although at the moment it does look a lot like a big red dot. And I realize that I'm at a TEDx talk, and I've been told that when you give a TEDx talk, it's not like my normal talks, it's not like a speech. I've got to get in the groove of what TEDx is like, so they directed me to please watch a lot of previous TEDx great talks. So I thought, well, I'll save some time and find the great TEDx talks delivered by politicians. This winnows down the possibilities considerably. And
so I want to start by offering you a free no-tech life hack. And all it requires of you is this, that you change your posture for 2 minutes. But before I give it away, I want to ask you to right now do a little audit of your body and what you're doing with your body. So how many of you are sort of making yourselves smaller? Maybe you're hunching, crossing your legs, maybe wrapping your ankles. Sometimes we hold on to our arms like this. Sometimes we spread out. I see you. So I want you to pay attention to what you're doing right now. We're going to come back to that in a few minutes, and I'm hoping that if you sort of learn to tweak this a little bit, it could significantly change the way your life
Process. Sorry. Pasta. Semi. Foyer. Borrow. Drama. Fragile. Z.